digital banking is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. But with increasing cyber threats, frauds, rapid tech innovation, how do banks ensure safety and convenience, right? So that's where RBI steps in, and today I'll take you through a brand new draft digital banking channel authorization directions 2025. So hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard. My name is Prateek Sir. By qualification, I'm a chartered accountant. Let's discuss about this direction. So before I start the video, I would like to discuss with you about a very important RBI 2025 Grade B preparation kit. We are giving here 10 PDF ebooks. It is totally free of cost. You can avail this particular preparation kit. Link is there in the description section. You can also download the Oliveboard application. There you will be getting all the PDFs related to all the YouTube session. And in case if you are having any query, you can always let me know in the comment section, or you can join this particular Telegram as well. So first, talk about the background and applicability. So it is being issued under Section 35 of the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Okay, the objective is here to provide a comprehensive regulatory framework. We need to have a comprehensive regulatory framework for authorizing and supervising the digital banking channels. So we are having many digital banking channels here, like internet banking, mobile banking. There should be a comprehensive regulatory framework governing and supervising about all the banking channels here, right? And that's what RBI has drafted here. These are the digital banking channel authorization directions 2025. So what is digital banking channel? It can include websites, mobile apps, mobile banking, SMS based banking, right? We can contact our bank branch with any number of ways. It can be mobile banking, it can be internet banking, it can be SMS banking. We all know about what internet banking is all about, mobile banking is all about. What is now view only facility? So here some of the key definitions are given. We'll be quickly discussing these definitions and then we'll be moving to the crux of the draft circular. Okay. Now what is view only facility? Let's suppose you are just watching what is your current balance. You just want to know what is your current balance. You don't want to do any kind of transaction. So do you need here view only rights or transaction right? Obviously you need only view only rights. You don't need transaction rights, right? So that's what view only facility is all about. It allows non-transactional services like balance checking, account statement download. No fund transfer or liability is allowed here because you don't have the transaction access here, right? So a customer using net banking only to check balance or just to download the balance, the bank statement is a view only facility as of now. Okay. And what is transaction banking facility? Definitely it's view only, non-fund based, plus you can do the fund based facilities like you can transfer the amount, you can pay your bills, you can avail loans, you can do the transactions. Let's come to the chapter 2, which is the prudential norms here. The first criteria here is about policies and procedure. Banks need to have a comprehensive policies regarding what? Regarding all the digital channels. So whatever digital channel you are offering, it can be mobile banking, it can be internet banking, it can be SMS banking. You need to have a comprehensive policy. That's the first thing for all the banking channels. Okay, so for all the banking channels, you need to have a comprehensive policy here, keeping in account all the statutory and regulatory requirement. You need to know all the statutory and regulatory requirement. It can be from law, it can be from RBI circular or any other regulatory body. You need to comply with all those statutory and regulatory requirements, and then you need to draft a comprehensive policy here. Responsibility of the oversight that all the things are working properly or not, whether this comprehensive policy is in place or not, remains with the senior management of the bank. So the bank senior management is solely responsible here for the oversight, for the management of this particular comprehensive policy regarding all the banking channels. Next is the view only banking facility eligibility. Let's suppose you are a bank, you are giving a view only banking facility to your customer. In that case, you need to have a CBS system, core banking solution system should be there, should be fully implemented, plus public facing IT infrastructure must support the IPv6. IPv6 होना चाहिए. If you don't have the IPv6 infrastructure ready, then you cannot go for a view only banking facility. You need to have CBS implemented in your system, plus you need to have IPv6 in the public facing IT infrastructure. So it's Internet Protocol version 6. Basically it's there to protect the customer, right? It's a public facing, it's a client facing role, so you need to ensure that you have installed certain things here to protect the integrity of the system, right? So IPv6 should be in place. Next, if I talk about compliance, then bank must inform the RBI within 30 days of the launch of GAICA. What is GAICA? Gap Assessment and Internal Control Adequacy Report. You need to conduct a gap assessment and internal control adequacy report. You need to conduct a gap assessment whether there is any kind of gap in your system, whether internal controls are adequate or not. So you need to furnish a report to the RBI, and then you only will be able to get a view only banking facility for your customer. So that's the bare minimum requirement as per this particular direction that you need to have if you want to give a view only banking facility. Transaction banking facility, obviously if you are availing a transaction banking facility, it's crucial that you need to have certain controls, right? So first you need to take the RBI approval via Pravah portal, and for each and everything, if you want to communicate with RBI, you need to have that communication via Pravah portal, right? So RBI approval is required via Pravah portal. There is a eligibility criteria. Again, CBS implementation is a must, plus IVP6 capability should be there in your system. That's a must. Compliance with the minimum CRAR, capital to risk weighted asset ratio, right, which is also called as capital adequacy ratio, or we can also call it as capital to risk weighted asset ratio. You should be CRAR compliant. Why are we talking about CRAR? Because you have given a transaction facility, right? You have given a transaction facility. Now customers can do the online transactions as well. So here the importance of CRAR is quite crucial, because those transactions will also be impacting your CAR ratio. Net worth should be at least equal to or greater than the regulatory minimum, or 50 crore, whichever is higher. So that's the net worth criteria. It should be bare minimum equal to the regulatory requirement, or 50 crore, whichever is higher. That's compulsion here. Adequate financial and technical capability should be there in your system, including 5-year expenditure plan, skilled staff, strong regulatory compliance record. So these things you need to have if you want to give transaction rights. You need to take approval, plus this is the bare minimum eligibility criteria that you need to have. So detailed report regarding indicating the expected expenditure, what will be the expected expenditure on this particular facility, availability of the funds for the proposed facility for the next 5 financial years. So how you will be able to manage this particular availability of fund in the next coming 5 years, that you need to share it with RBI. Details of the cost benefit analysis, क्या cost लगेगी, उसका क्या benefit आपको मिलेगा, that also you need to share. Third party technology service provider, let's suppose if you are taking or relying on any kind of third party technology, then in that case you need to assure RBI that what kind of service you are taking, who is the third party, right? What is the technology capability, what is the technology being adopted, and how skilled your employees are, whether they will be able to manage any kind of vulnerability, whether they will be able to manage any kind of risk, whether everything will be streamlined or not. So you need to have this much as eligibility criteria. Mandatory documentation, you need to pass a board resolution. Again, the GAICA report should be a must, right? Whether what is your assessment, what is how capable are your internal controls, right? So no major cybersecurity issues in the past year. You need to have no major cybersecurity issue in the past 2 years. Okay, कोई भी issue नहीं होना चाहिए, plus supervisory inputs यहाँ पे जरूरी है. So these are the mandatory documents. I have pasted the screenshot from the draft circular itself so that you can get a feel of reading the circular, plus I have given you the summary pointers as well for better understanding. Now, if a cooperative bank is aiming to launch a UPI based mobile banking, it must meet the above financial compliance and technical criteria plus the documentation criteria, right? Technological guidelines, bank must comply with the following RBI directions as well, like IT related, IT outsourcing, IT governance and risk controls, digital payments, security controls, cyber security framework, and fraud risk management. So we are already having a lot of directions around these things that you need to comply with. Then complex, if I talk about a complex term, you must have heard about the CERT in empaneled auditor. Let's talk about CERT. It's nothing but a third party cybersecurity audit firm approved by the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, right? So this is Computer Emergency Response Team responsible for verifying the IT security control. So you need to get your cybersecurity audited from a third party audit firm being approved by CERT. If the party is being approved by CERT, you can get your controls audited by the cybersecurity firm for that. But that must be CERT empaneled auditor. Now bank must comply with the following directions like IT Act, Data Protection Act, FEMA, Consumer Protection Guidelines, KYC, anti-money laundering, CFT rules, etc. So all the guidelines are already in place. RBI ने काफी सारी guidelines इसके around already maintain कर रखी है, वो सब आपको यहाँ पे follow करनी जरूरी है. Customer-centric guidelines, explicit consent is required. What do you mean by explicit consent? Clearly customer से consent लेनी पड़ेगी, not oral but written. Okay? अच्छा, ओरल भी ले रहे हो, अगर आप कोई पॉपअप बॉक्स के थ्रू भी ले रहे हो, दैट इज ऑल्सो फाइन. रिटर्न ले रहे हो तो बहुत बढ़िया, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एक्सप्लिसिट कंसेंट, नॉट इम्प्लिसिट. मान नहीं लिया आपने कि कस्टमर ने कंसेंट दे दिए, नो, इट शुड बी कंप्लीट कंसेंट, इट शुड बी एक्सप्लिसिट, क्लियरली स्टेटेड. Required for digital services, alerts, SMS, emails are mandatory. So if you want to send any kind of digital services, send any kind of alert, SMS or emails that are mandatory, you need to take a explicit consent from the customer. You cannot send emails and SMS without taking a consent, right? Simple registration, multiple non-branch operations for registering the digital banking here, plus clear terms and conditions must be in plain English. All the terms and conditions must be in plain English, Hindi or local language. In whichever language the customer is comfortable, should be clearly stated. It should not be any kind of complex language that creates a difficulty for the customer to understand it, right? Liability limit, you need to again follow the RBI rules as well, and you need to fix a liability of the customer in case of fraud. It's not that the customer will be having an unlimited liability here. There should be a clear stated limit here, okay? Then no mandatory linking. Customers should not be forced here to offer the digital banking or to get any other service like debit cards, etc. So if you are pitching, that's fine, but it should not be a forceful or a mandatory thing, right? Recommendation is fine. Making it mandatory, pitching them again and again, right? Making it a compulsion is not at all fine. It's totally on the choice of the customer whether they want to opt for digital banking service, mobile banking service, or debit cards or credit cards, right? Risk mitigation measures, limits on the transaction size. So you need to compulsorily set the limits on the transaction size, velocity, how many times you are making the transaction, that's velocity. Fraud checks should also be there. So these are the risk mitigation measures that you need to again follow. Mobile network independence. So SMS banking or USSD must work across all the network. It should not be specific to few networks. Surveillance, mobile monitor the transactions, especially the outliners for the fraud detection. So you need to also do the surveillance in case of transactions, in case of any kind of frauds, right? No third party ads. You need not to show third party ads. You should not show the third party apps of the group, entity or product or service unless explicitly permitted by the customer. If you want to show any kind of third party ads, advertisements, then you need to take a explicit customer consent here, right? You need to take a explicit consent here of the customer if you want to show third party ads. Ideally you should not show it. Exemptions and clarification, RBI can definitely grant any kind of exemption or time extension to any entity. Issue clarification which are binding, so this is case to case basis only. And repeal of the earlier circular, so these circulars are now won't be applicable directly. All the directions related to the electronic means are already there in this particular direction. So the conclusion here is, in 2025 master direction, we are consolidating and updating the RBI's regulatory framework for digital banking. Why? To ensure customer protection, to enhance the customer protection measures, secure and scalable tech infrastructure, streamlining the compliance and authorization, and uniformity across all the banks, right? So there should be a clear-cut uniformity. So the most important thing in this particular circular will be your eligibility criteria here. Okay, eligibility criteria is important for the transaction availment. Okay, for the transaction availment, if you want to avail transaction rights, then this particular is the eligibility criteria, and if you want to take only the view only rights, then this is the eligibility criteria. You need to have a strong command over the eligibility criteria. You need to be CBS enabled. IPv6 capability should also be there. You need to ensure core compliance with the CRAR requirement, plus your net worth should be bare minimum equal to the regulatory requirement or greater than 50 crore. It should be greater than 50 crore, whichever is higher, right? Either you need to comply with the bare minimum requirement or 50 crore, whichever is higher. Again, you need to share the plans as well, financial and technical capabilities, including 5-year expenditure plan. You need to have skilled staff and strong regulatory compliance. So this is the entire draft direction. Thank you so much for watching the video. मिलता है किसी और वीडियो के अंदर. Bye bye. Take care.